I think that's a little bit about what leading the customer experience at United is all about. It is more than just and schedule. It is the experience. It's the experience of finding a flight. And really, even more importantly, it's about how that day of travel goes, and especially when something doesn't go as planned. And that experience and how our incredible employees in the airports and the crew on the airplane play a huge part, but also how we can use technology to make that even better.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Modern Customer Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Morgan. Today, my guest is Linda Jojo, the Chief Customer Officer for United Airlines. Prior to her role as Chief Customer Officer, Linda was formerly the Chief Information Officer and Chief Technology and Digital Officer for United, and she started there in 2014. Prior to that role, Linda spent time at Rogers Communications, Energy Future Holdings, as well as GE and other companies. Today we're talking about the customer experience at United, what her priorities are, what we can expect in the future from the modern customer experience offered by United. We're also looking at the employee experience and what Linda is looking at in terms of data on her computer every day. And we talk to Linda about what's working, what hasn't worked, and where she wants to take the brand in the future. Please enjoy Linda Jojo. Linda, welcome to the Modern Customer Podcast. I'm so happy to finally meet you.
Blake, thank you very much for your perseverance. I know getting on my calendar was a little bit of a challenge.
Well, United is near and dear to my heart. I've been flying United since I was a little kid, and United is my preferred airline. And I won't tell you and everybody my status, but I've been working very arduously to build up my status. Anyway, really happy to have you. I had Oscar Munoz on the podcast as well, who I'm sure you know very
Oh,
well.
yes, absolutely. He's a great person.
He's so likable and so
Yeah,
easy to talk to. It was
yeah,
really
that's
fun,
right.
actually. Well, your career has been really interesting. You're one of these people that can clearly do a lot of things because you've done, I believe, the CIO role, CTO, Chief Digital Officer, now Chief Customer Officer. What is the common thread in your career that has really been a staple for you to achieve all this success?
Well, thank you. I think the vast majority of my career, you would have labeled me as a technologist. Some type of information technology or digital technology was in my title for quite a while. But I think, if you double click in, pardon the pun, you can see that really it's been all about how can we use technology to improve both employee and customer experiences. And so when Scott Kirby asked me to take on additional responsibility, so in addition to the technology organization, to also be the chief customer officer, I really felt like it was a natural step for me.
That's great that it was a natural step. I want to talk about your first 90 days because the pressure is
Okay.
on. I mean, first of all, how many customers do you have? Like if you were to tell us.
Well, today we're flying almost 600,000 customers. So
Just today?
uh, just today, that's right, just today.
Holy smokes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a lot, and it adds up to about 160 million or so uh, unique individuals. So there's obviously people like you that fly more than once a year, and we love people like you.
Yeah, I fly only United. I'm amazed by people that are just like, "Oh, whatever airline is going to where I want to go." I'm like, that's just so weird to me. I just can't
Yeah,
even imagine
and I
having
think,
loyalty.
but I think that's a little bit about what leading the customer experience at United is all about. It is more than just and schedule. It is the experience. It's the experience of finding a flight. And really, even more importantly, it's about how that day of travel goes, and especially when something doesn't go as planned. And that experience and how our incredible employees in the airports and the crew on the airplane play a huge part, but also how we can use technology to make that even better.
So I think that you've probably been interviewed a million times about culture, about customer focus of the flight attendants. I think we should focus a little bit more today on what's new and the
Okay.
technology piece because that's really exciting. Could you talk to us about some of the technology initiatives for both the employee experience and the customer experience that you're excited about that we'll see these changes in the next year or so?
Okay. Well, I think, you can't, you have to start with our employees. The employees that you see in the airports and in the air are the key part of our experience. And whatever we can do to make their jobs easier so they can take care of customers instead of worrying about how to log into a system or remembering what a policy is. The way we can make that easier is better for everyone. And I think one of the big things, it's not brand new, but it's still, we're the only airline that does this. We have a patent for this, and that's called agent on demand. And I think this comes down to, you know, good service is not about waiting in line or waiting on hold, especially if you're in an airport and something's gone on with your flight, right?
Right.
And so agent on demand connects airport agents that are just working at a different airport than the one you're at and allows you to use a video chat or a good old fashioned text chat or a call if that's what you want to do to actually figure out how we can get you back on your way. So this is a very unique way we really connect our employees with our customers using technology. So I think I can't talk enough about that. That's really pretty amazing. I also don't think you could talk about things that are new in this space without bringing up the word AI or generative AI or artificial intelligence at some point. And the reality is we have been using AI at the airline for a while, but it's becoming more pervasive and a little bit more easy to understand. And the first one I'll tell you about is called Every Flight Has a Story. That is literally the name of a product that we have. Every Flight Has a Story is really trying to explain to customers what is happening with the flight they're on and
Yes.
doing it in a way that is not airline gobbledygook or
Yeah.
something generic like operational difficulties. It's really about saying our flight is delayed because there's weather on the way to your destination, and we're going to have a different flight plan to get you on your way or something like that. And just kind of giving insight into the why just kind of helps people understand, like you're looking out the window and the sun is out, why are you calling this a weather delay? And it's really all about the weather system. We've taken that to another level, and that is actually putting the weather map in our app. And so you can actually click on the weather map right when you're in your flight status, and you can see the direction of travel that your plane is either coming in to pick you up or what it's going to be like on your way, to be able to see what the actual flight plan is going to be. So using technology and artificial intelligence to give you an easy to understand what is happening is really a huge piece of what we're doing.
Yeah, as a customer, Linda, when you're sitting in the seat on the tarmac and you're wondering, okay, what's happening? Like there's just this anxiety. So anything like that to reduce customer anxiety and make them feel more in control, I think is really, really helpful.
Yeah, I think you're right. And before joining United, I was one of those road warriors that was racking up the miles myself. And so that was really what was important to me, was to just understand what was happening, understand what my options were, and then be able to make a decision on my own about what I'm going to do in terms of continuing on travel or even just figuring out what my pickup is going to be when I get to the airport. So we've been talking for a few minutes, and I can't believe I haven't just talked about in general about our app, right? We have really thought about how to make the United app not just the best airline app on your phone. Hopefully it's the only airline app on your phone, but the
It
best
definitely
airline app on your
it's
phone.
the only airline in my mind,
Yeah,
for
well, I
better or
love
worse.
that.
But I'm at LAX. I was at SFO, I'm at LAX. Anyway, continue.
Okay,
Yeah, the
well,
app is good.
a lot of choices out of LA actually, so we're even
Yeah.
more happy about that.
Yeah.
But we want to be the best app on your phone. And so we think about what other apps do to provide information. We work closely with Apple and with the other manufacturers to say what are the new techniques that are coming out. And we really want to make this something that's easy for you to use. So about a year ago, Apple came out with something called Live Activities. It's kind of a weird tech name, but what it really is when your phone is in the lock screen mode and you've opened up the United app,
Yeah.
It actually will put just a short snippet of information on your home screen so you know what's going on. And that
Yeah.
includes what gate are you going from and how many minutes till boarding. So if you're cruising on into the airport and you haven't gone through security yet, but you know it's 39 minutes till boarding, you're probably going to be okay. And if the gate changes, you can see it right there. Well,
Yeah.
we have continued to add features. That's super important, right? I forget. I look 100 times a day. Where's my gate? What's my gate? I look, I forget, I look again. What are the other things? And so now, if you've checked a bag and you're on the plane, first of all, not only will it switch for what gate are you at, but what seat are you in? It'll tell you that your bags have been loaded onto the aircraft. Or eventually, there's 2 more hours in the flight, and kind of move you all the way through that journey just with a quick glance down to your phone.
Right. That's really helpful. Like I'm just imagining a layover in Houston or one of these
Mhm.
humongous airports where you better book it or you're going to miss your flight. You know, you got to run, maybe you got to take a train, and the live activities does really help. It lets you know like do you have time to stop for a burrito or not, or a coffee? Do you
Yeah,
just need to
yeah.
go?
Burritos in Houston for sure. Uh, well, I will say that we do a couple other things in that situation. The first is if you've never been to Houston and maybe you're going from Terminal C to Terminal E, we'll give you turn by turn directions on the app and tell you how many minutes it's going to take to get there. And that's
Yes.
not at a full sprint. That's a comfortable walk from one gate to the other. So we're going to tell you how long it is. You can compare that to the number of minutes we have to boarding and make a decision about that burrito. But the second
Yeah.
thing we do is Connection Saver. Now, Connection Saver has been around for about 5 years. That's another one of those new AI technologies that we've had in place that candidly no other US airline and maybe no other airline in the world actually does this. And that is we actually calculate real time whether we can hold the flight for you. And we did it. Last year, 700,000 customers, we held their flight because they had a tight connection. The
That's
ultimate
always
thing.
interesting. It's like if you are on a delayed flight, there's always chat. It's like, will they, won't they? And yeah, I mean that's always tough. And you're in an industry where things go wrong literally every day. And so I would even imagine like half of your job is just when the thing does go wrong, which inevitably it will. You can't control the weather and things like that. Like we have A, B, C, D, E to do. What's the best choice?
That's right. And it's not always obvious. You might say, why didn't they hold that flight for me? I only needed it for 5 minutes. But the reality is there was people on that flight. Maybe you're going Houston to Newark, to New York City area, and there was somebody connecting to Europe, and we couldn't hold the flight so that they would miss theirs. And so there is a delicate trade-off that we have to make every time about whether you hold or not, making sure our crews can make their times and all that as well. But you're right, it's a complicated.
It's super complicated. And I always say, like, part of customer experience is just reducing back end complexity, which is a big piece of it. But let's switch gears, Linda. I know our audience really want to hear from you about success metrics. I mean, you have so much in your scope. You've got the contact centers and well, actually, why don't you tell us
Yeah.
what is your scope, and then I want to drill down and talk about how you measure success.
Yeah, well, I think I have a pretty unique and actually quite awesome organization. The biggest piece of it is still the technology organization that runs not just our customer-facing tools, our website, our mobile app, but also all of the employee tools that we have to use, all the internal to crew scheduling, HR, all the different things, operational tools that they need to use. So that's number one. The second is our contact centers, as you said. So the incredible people that are there to help customers book a complicated reservation. Maybe they're using miles and points and trying to figure out where the best place to go is. Or maybe they're helping somebody because there has been some type of disruption or a change that either happens because of weather or something on our part, or maybe they've changed their plans. And then we have the team that actually designs our airport experience and looks at what is it like to get from the curb all the way to your gate and then back through baggage claim. And so the lobby signage that you see, the gate signage, all the tools that get used there. That's our customer strategy and innovation team. And last but absolutely not least, our cybersecurity team.
That's a lot. I mean, so let's take us inside your computer. Like what you're looking at, a lot of different, probably a lot of different tools. What are the metrics you're checking every single day, if you are checking these
Yeah. Oh,
metrics
yeah.
every day?
Well, I think one of the things airlines are blessed with is a lot of data. So it's not only nearly 600,000 customers a day, but it's, 5,000 flights a day, depending on the day, the crews that are going around, plus all the employees. So we have a lot of data. I think the things that I see every morning are one thing, but there also are important things to look at every couple of weeks to watch trends and to keep things on track. And they all kind of boil down into the same group of things with different time horizons. The first, absolutely, is our Net Promoter Scores. What have our customers said about the flights they took yesterday? What are our customers saying about the flights they took in the last week or the last month? And how do our customers who were delayed compare us to those customers who ran on time? And then I can cut that down into all different things. What is it by where they originated from? Did they come from a station and connect through Houston or through Chicago or through Newark? Or do they start in one of those hub airports and then go onward? Did they have bags or not? Did they upgrade? All the different, and we slice and dice and say, what was their experience on United Airlines? And of course, we look at what changes over time and how we can work that. So I think it all starts with that. And then you kind of drill down into the specific pieces that we're using that are trying to move the needle. We are absolutely investing in the customer experience. And so one of the things you'll notice if you're flying United is that we're retrofitting the inside of all our planes, not only the new planes that are coming, but the ones that we have, big
Mm-hmm.
bins. What is the one thing that customers hate? They bring their carry-on, there isn't room to put it in their
Yeah.
overhead, and we take it away from you and you have to go down to baggage claim and get it. So we want to make sure there's room for everybody to have a carry-on bag. That's number one. We're looking at seat back entertainment. Years ago, we thought it was a good idea to take the seat out. Everybody had a tablet. They were going to use their tablet and do all their entertainment that way. The reality is we're all used to more than one screen. Everybody wants some type of entertainment up on the seat back, and then they connect to the Wi-Fi. They use their tablet or their laptop for that. We make sure that we've got Bluetooth connectivity and fast Wi-Fi, all about the airport, that experience. And we track how in terms of how the actual survey scores are. We even look at things down low to like, how are customers saying about the cleaning on the plane? And if we see trends about a particular place where, airport where planes are being cleaned and not going right, we can get right to them and say, hey, we got to work on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So very much we can drill right down into the detail.
Yeah. I want to talk with you, Linda, about segmentation. It is interesting to hear about all these things that are top of mind for you, but I think also looking at, I mean, the different experiences. So the way you
Mm-hmm.
think about the coach experience versus business class. I've had the opportunity to fly business class for like the last 5 years on many flights, just due to my job as a speaker. And it's interesting to see the difference in experiences. How do you think about customer segmentation and what your goals are for the different types of experiences depending on the purchase price?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing I would say is that we want to treat all of our customers well. Do you have a flight attendant who knows your name and he or she does have that on their mobile device, what they bring on the plane? If you were celebrating a birthday this week, we want them to wish you happy birthday. If you're crossing over 1,000,000 miles, we want them to do something special for you. And that doesn't matter where you're sitting on the plane or what status you have. I think if you flew 1,000,000 miles, we probably know you're not a general member, but it doesn't matter what status you have. In terms of the rest, I think we want to make sure that customers have choice, and customers have choice for all the different reasons that they're flying. You know, It's not unusual. Somebody else is paying for the ticket and they're willing to pay for first class. You're happy to take it. But if you're paying for your own ticket, you might not want to do that. And so we want to make sure that we have the ability for you to have a choice. If you're maybe just starting out and you're super price conscious and you just want a seat on the plane, we've got a basic economy product for you there on that side. And then over time, you're going to move your way up through those experiences.
Okay, got it. So, I mean, your goal is to treat everyone well. The business class, I mean, obviously, the technicalities of just even booking, like, yes, you're right. Like, if I am buying for myself or my family, we're not flying business class, but corporations have budgets for travel, so that's different.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Can you just talk about some of your goals for the future of the customer experience for United in the next few years? You talked about the video chat and things like that. What else
Mm-hmm.
is on the horizon?
Well, I think we are really leaning in to what modern service looks like. And that service is absolutely has a digital component. We want to make sure that customers have the ability to interact with United through the app or through the website, through anything that they actually want to do with us, whether it's things going well, searching for a flight, whether a day of travel, making changes, and especially if things aren't going well, being able to do that. So we're tracking all of that. 80% of our customers check in online. 44% of customers have everything all set. They drop their bag off and they zip right through. They bypass our lobby and get right to TSA and into the airport. 90% of our customers, when they get to the gate, are all set. Now, why is that? Because they do everything through the app. So we want to
Mhm.
make sure that we're constantly thinking about how we can create good service experiences with our app. And that tends to be customers being able to do things by themselves. And especially, as we talked about, when things aren't going well, when there's a big storm sitting over one of our hubs, causing flights to be delayed, coming in and out, and you trying to figure out how to get on your way. And so you can actually rebook on the app. We actually have, look at it. I think it's 45% or so of customers are actually now completely rebooking themselves because they had a flight cancellation or a long delay onto a new flight. And one of the things that we're adding is something called something called Get Me Close. So when we talk to our agents and we say, well, why are people still waiting in line to talk to you?
Mhm.
And the answer is, well, I'm trying to get into Newark. And the app tells me I can't go until tomorrow night. And I really don't want to wait that long. But I'm willing to fly to Philly and take the train. And so, how can we allow customers that choice to be able to kind of rebook to a different city, or maybe figure out a more creative way of getting there? My mom lives outside of Hartford, Connecticut, so I would probably swing through Hartford if I was trying to get to New York and then come down the next day, trying to figure out unique ways to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many pieces, moving parts all the time of your job. I mean, is that exciting for you or is it overwhelming?
No, it's exciting. I mean, no 2 days are alike. And I think, the part that is fantastic, although sometimes people get grumpy, for the most part, everyone is really just, they're going on a trip. It's an important part of their day, and being able to help them get there where they want to go, whether it's an important business meeting or a vacation or a honeymoon or whatever, is really very gratifying.
Yeah, I mean, just as a last note on this, it seems like the training of the flight attendants has probably never been more important because 90% of people are well behaved, or 95, and there's a code of conduct to polite society on an airplane. But there are people that sometimes aren't subscribing to this polite society code, and they're not acting professionally. And your flight attendants, it's a tough situation. They're in an enclosed space, so they have to figure out, how do we be customer focused? How are we ready and prepared when if a customer is grouchy and going off the rails? What do we do? So are you upping the ante on training for these scenarios?
Yeah, I think we have the best flight attendants in the business, not only because they're focused on safety, but because of how they actually work with our customers. And yes, when necessary, de-escalate situations before they get out of hand. We're super proud of what they do there, and it is something that we do train them on.
So let's get to know you a little bit. Are you ready to have fun and do some rapid fire?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
Blake.
All right. Well, number one, what is the most important part of your morning routine?
The first thing I do in the morning is I get up and I work out. It kind of resets my day and make sure I don't have to take one shower every day.
Coffee or no coffee?
Coffee, almond milk.
Favorite in-flight meal?
I first of all love the iced illy coffee that we just put on board. I can honestly say I didn't have anything to do with the decision to do it, but I'm certainly glad that the onboard food and beverage team did. I am now semi addicted to the illy iced coffee. And then, who doesn't like a stroopwafel? Caramel Dutch
Ah,
waffly
yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes. Favorite airport?
Whichever one I'm heading to next.
Favorite city?
Um, I love Boston. Boston's probably my favorite city.
What show are you currently streaming?
Uh, uh, we are watching. I think it's Spanish on Netflix. It's called Master Heist. I think it's a little bit addictive. We're on the fourth out of five seasons. I don't know what we're gonna do when it's over. They're stealing gold from the Spanish mint.
Oh, I love those kind of thriller things. One mental health strategy for managing hard days.
I really am very strict with my calendar. I really make sure that I don't get overbooked so that I can have a few minutes to kind of get myself prepared for whatever my next meeting or interaction is, so I can really be completely focused on that. And on stressful days, sometimes you need a little more time in between than others, that's all.
Love that. What's your favorite type of vacation?
I love to play golf. We were just in Ireland recently and really enjoyed ourselves.
If you could have lunch with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Mm. I gotta say, it would be my dad. My dad was my mom too, but my dad absolutely kept me interested in math and science, even though as a young girl that wasn't necessarily the thing to do. And I'm really sure he'd be proud of me today, and also have a few pointers. So I'd look forward to bragging a little bit, and then, as always, listening a lot.
If you could define your outlook or describe your outlook in one quick motto, what would it be?
I think from a business perspective, it's a little bit of, fail fast and then fix it, is the sound bite. And by that, I mean, try things. I mean, you're much better off trying things and just when they don't work, don't keep doing them. Stop and course correct.
Great. Love that. This has been so fun. I'm so glad we finally got you on the Modern Customer Podcast, Linda. Thank you for being here.
The same here, Blake. I really enjoyed it.
All right. And for all of you listening, you have been tuning into the Modern Customer Podcast. Until next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on social media, including Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and more.